Bitter criticism. Cell phone is saying I only have 9 minutes to read something. I'm going to read. I will try to read Al Jazeera economy. Al Jazeera special economy. What's going on? It's been like a month. Something like 1 month ago. A long time for a nice magazine about economy. Not Shiite. They are pretty moderate and professional. They are efficient. Their subjects are very interesting. Actually, I don't understand what's about the first news. CBS cancels Colbert's Late Show amid pending Paramount Skydance merger. I'm going to read just because it's not interesting now. I'm going to skip this. And the second says G20 finance ministers reach consensus on key economic issues. That's better. And the subtitle says South Africa's Deputy Minister of Finance David Masondo, Minister of Finance Enoch, and there's the saying of finance Enoch Godongwana and Research Bank. I have no idea. This is a South African name. Ubuntu name. Ubuntu. I have zero idea about Ubuntu culture. And Reserve Bank Governor Lesetia King. Oh, it's very hard because the bus is moving too much. Kaganialgo something. Well, South African names. Address the media towards the end of G20 finance meeting on Durban, South Africa, July 18, 2025. G20 finance ministers reached consensus on key economic issues. U.S. Set to shift its approach towards G20 when it takes over group's rotating presidency from South Africa in December. July 18, which is today, I guess. The finance ministers of the group of 20 have finally reached a consensus following meetings in South Africa, emphasizing that central banks must remain independent in reaction to months of attacks by United States President Donald Trump. Everybody is lame, just like me. In their final statement published on Friday, allowing 2 days of meetings in the coastal city of Durban, the grouping agreed on key challenges for the global economy, including ongoing wars and conflicts, trade disputes, supply chain disruptions, debt, and natural disasters. The G20 finance ministers have met several times since the beginning of the year, but have been unable to agree on a joint statement at previous summits. Quote, central banks are strongly committed to ensuring price stability consistent with their respective mandates and will continue to adjust their policies in a data-dependent manner, end quote. The grouping said in Friday's joint declaration, their first communique since October, quote, "Central bank independence is crucial to achieving this goal," end quote. Read the statement, which was also signed by the US. Trump has for a long time been criticizing the Federal Reserve, the central bank of the US, mainly over its decision on interest rates. His attacks have intensified during his second term in office and have mainly targeted Federal Reserve boss Jerome Powell, whom he has called, quote unquote, a moron. The good old Donald Duck Trump. He has called a moron, quote unquote, numbskull, and quote unquote stubborn mule, a stubborn mule. Trump is unhappy with the central bank's decision to lower interest rates slower than he prefers in an effort to fight inflation. He has also strongly criticized Powell for his handling of a project to renovate the Federal Reserve headquarters in Washington, D.C. The joint communique on Friday was reached in the absence of U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, but Washington was represented by Michael Kaplan, acting Undersecretary of the Treasury for International Affairs. Bessent had also missed the previous gathering of the finance ministers of the G20 in Cape Town in February, when the representatives had failed to reach a joint stance to the dismay of host country South Africa. And there's a photograph, a video of South African money. It's just the same design as everywhere. It's the same design. South Africa promised debt solutions for low-income nations during its G20 presidency. It's absolutely the same colors. Look, the 20 yellow, 100 or 10 blue. It's just the same thing right here in this shithole. South Africa promised debt solutions for low-income nations during its G20 presidency. Has it kept its word? It's a hard life, it's a hard planet. Subtitle. I'm going to run now because I just have 1 minute. Economic uncertainty, complex challenges. The US is set to assume the G20's rotating presidency in December, but it reportedly plans to shift its approach to the multilateral institution, which it helped found in 2029. Three unnamed US sources cited by the Reuters news agency said on Friday that Washington plans to focus on the G20 Leaders Summit and the financial meetings in November, eliminating other working groups and ministerial level meetings, including those on energy, healthcare, commerce, and environment. Just more 30 seconds. In its joint statement, the group also highlighted the global trade landscape that has increasingly been rocked by Trump's tariffs, as well as wars involving the US and its allies. Quote, "The global economy is facing heightened uncertainty and complex challenges, including ongoing wars and conflicts, geopolitical and trade tensions," it said. The G20 is made up of 19 nations, as well as the European Union and the African Union, and its members account for more than 80% of the world's economic